Welcome everyone to part 3 of this bread and butter plugins video special. Again, this is your boy, your homie, Raygee of Southeast Cartel, delivering you another dope video for the Engineer's Corner. So, I'm glad to reach the last video and wrap this all up because this is one of my more favorite plugins, as well as the one that I find pretty challenging to be able to master, okay? And I would say with this, I probably haven't even mastered as much as I want to. So we're going to talk about reverbs and also how to apply them in a mix. So let me just show you a quick glimpse of my awesome wallpaper with one piece, and then let's get rolling with the intro, man. Here we are, and we're back with that very familiar setup that we've been using for the last 2 videos. Again, if you haven't watched the first video and the second video, with the first being about EQ and the second being about compressors, I do highly suggest you watch those first before you watch this one, because they all lead up and build upon each other, alright? Once again, this is not going to teach you how to use reverb properly. All the details, all the knobs, buttons, all of that, I'm not going to be showing you guys that. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that go very, very deep into these, and they literally go on from like 10 to 20 to 30 minutes talking about reverb, and you're going to learn way more from those than you are from me. Instead, I'm going to show you guys how I use reverb in my mixes, and hopefully through that, you guys can beef up or improve your mixes as well, okay? So before we're even going to talk about reverb here, we're going to talk about creating bus sends, all right? And basically think of sends as for you to be able to transfer signal, channel signal, right? This is a channel here. So channel signal or channel audio into an aux input or an aux channel. Now an aux channel, like this one here, you can use to create what's known as parallel effects, all right? Meaning, this channel here, for example, my main, we'll be playing back whatever's been recorded here, but at the same time, we can send signal from this channel to a different aux channel and have it affect the signal that's being sent to it as well. So we can literally have the main playing the exact same signal as the one being played in the aux channel, all right? So here we're going to use this one already labeled verb, but this is an aux channel here. For Pro Tools, you actually have to use an aux channel. You can't use a regular audio or a master channel in order for you to run effects, parallel effects, all right? So keep that in mind if you're using Pro Tools. If you try any of the other channels, it won't work. When it comes to Audacity or Cubase, Audition, there probably are different ways to do this. So you got to figure out how to do it in whatever software or DAW you're using. So in mine, it's very simple. I'm going to go in here. This is the input for this aux channel, and I'm going to change that into a bus, and bus 1 and 2. So you can literally pick any buses here. It's just that I'm going to pick 1 and 2, and the most important thing is whatever bus I'm going to set up for my vocal here will be sending to the exact same bus, all right? You can think of it like those traditional old phone lines or phone cables where you had an operator kind of transferring you to different lines. So it's literally the same thing, all right? So again, we have it set to bus 1 and 2. And I'm going to go up to my sends area for this channel. I'm going to go and select bus 1 and 2. All right, so we match them up. Now here, this little window is going to pop up, and it's going to basically ask me how much signal I want to send. So right now, I'm going to send about the same signal that's being sent through here, which is close to 0. All right. I'm going to do the same thing as well for my telephone ad-lib that we've been working on. Set that close to 0. And obviously I have my reverb here, okay? So I'm just going to show you first how it sounds like once I've sent signal from each of these channels to this parallel effect.
Let my bros get past, let my sisters get cash. Whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask. Go to war with my...
Obviously that's too much reverb, but I just wanted to show you guys how it sounds to the extreme. So I'm going to lower that down. play it back till I get it to exactly where I want it. I'll show you guys here.
Let my bros get past, let my sisters get cash. Whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask. Go to war.
Another thing too, I'm gonna go into the first bus send I have on my main vocal. I'm gonna lower that as well. Let's go -10. This one I'm gonna go -10 as well, and I'm just gonna balance it out. And I'll tell you why I do that once I get the balance right.
Let my bros get past, let my sisters get cash. Whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask. Go to war with my legion, every day of the season. Black's black among sheep, we a bunch of odds, no evens. Posted up at the canto.
Perfect. So right now that's where I want the reverb to sit. Kind of adding a good wash on this beat, on these vocals, and it's kind of a little trap, a genre. So in a lot of trap music, you want to have a little bit more reverb than you do on the traditional hip hop or rap tracks. All right. Now I'll show you why I kind of lowered down the sends levels that I'm sending out to the verb or to the reverb. Is because on certain effects, I want certain channels to be or to have more reverb than other channels, right? Now you can usually set them both to 0, but then you only have from 0 all the way up to this area right here to give maximum signal. So instead of having just that small space, I'd rather reduce my send levels a little bit, and then I have more room to play with. So for something like this, this already sounds pretty good in terms of reverb for both vocals, but for the telephone, especially the ad-lib style, I want to give a little bit more of a reverb wash, just because the frequencies are standing out in the middle and it's a little bit more harsher. So I don't want it to kind of cut through more than the main vocal, and at the same time I want it to kind of be more in the background. All right, so I'm gonna add a bit more signal to this reverb through here. So I'll play that back.
Whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask. Go to war with my legion, every day of the season. Black's black among sheep, we a bunch of odds, no evens. Posted up at the canto, chill let.
There you go. So now there's more reverb here being sent out. Well, there's more signal being sent out, and because of that, there's more reverb on this ad-lib, and I like the way that sounds. All right, and let's go on to this reverb that I have here. And I was gonna give you guys a couple of tips on the way I use reverb and the reason why I do it this way. So usually if I only have one reverb, there's certain occasions where I'm gonna have more than one. But for this example, trying to keep it basic, I'm gonna show you guys, just how I do things if I only have one reverb. So I'm gonna keep my everything in default the way I have it for now. I'm just gonna first talk about the pre-delay. And if you notice, I actually have a good amount of pre-delay here. And the reason being is, especially for the more modern sounding rap vocals, you don't want the reverb to start right when the vocals kick in, right, or whatever kicks in. You want to give some space between when the vocals start and when the reverb kicks in, so that the reverb, 1, stands out even more, and 2, doesn't muddy up or doesn't wash the main vocals too much. Obviously, if you add too much pre-delay, it's not good, because then the reverb sounds too obvious and too long. So, add a good amount. So let me just show you guys an example of how that sounds. Here we go.
Let my bros get past, let my sisters get cash. Whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask. Go to war with my legion, every day of the season. Black's black among sheep, we a bunch of odds, no evens. Posted up at the canto, chill at the barrio. Puffin' trees, got my eyes low. Making plans with your idols, that's the truth, no fake.
So that's with a lot of pre-delay and almost zero pre-delay. Like, it still sounds okay, but for me, it's just too muddy, too much going on at the same time. So adding that pre-delay, a good amount of it, will help keep your vocals standing out and still sound like it has reverb on it. So let me set that back to where I want it.
Let my bros get past, let my sisters get cash. Whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask. Go to war with my legion, every day of the season. Black's black among sheep, we a bunch of odds, no evens. Posted up.
I like it there. Now the next thing that I want to touch on as well is my EQ. My EQ, reverb EQ. So this is pretty important as well. Again, everything that you're touching here is all sound. So it's all made up of frequencies. So if you can go in and add EQ to certain things to control it, why not? Take advantage of it. So it just so happens this reverb has the built-in EQ. But if it didn't, I would just have the reverb here, and I can go in and add EQ after that. And then just play around with this EQ here, all right? But this reverb has EQ, so we're just gonna show you guys what it looks like here. So if you notice, I've EQ'd quite a bunch here, right? I've taken away a little of the high ends and the low ends. Now let me explain first why I took out some of the high ends. I don't want my reverb sounding exactly the same as my regular vocals coming in. Usually I like my reverbs to sound a little darker. So in order to make it sound darker, you got to take away some of the high frequencies. So that's what I did right here. I removed it, and now it sounds more like a little dark, but not too dark, obviously. Because if it was too dark, or if I wanted too dark, I would remove even more. So the way I like to do it is because I know my vocals or people's vocals usually sit between the usually I'd say 1 to the 4 hertz. But also the liveness of a person's vocal sits a little higher than that. I want to keep the liveness in people's vocals sitting at the top. So in order to do that, I don't want to have too much reverb on that top. That way I can boost up the reverb even more, so I could take up more of that background space. All right. Now if I had this EQ all the way up and I have all this set up here, reverb is going to sound too much and it's going to take away from the liveliness of the vocals.
Get cash, whatever my homies need, they don't even gotta ask.
Which means I have to lower down the volume for the reverb even more, all right? So that the vocals don't, the presence in the vocals aren't taken away, sorry. But I still want to have a good amount of reverb there that you can hear. That's obvious. So I'm just going to go in here and remove some of the high parts and keep it a little darker. That way I can boost up the reverb to the point where I like it.
Let my bros get past, let my sisters get cash.
And there it's not too bright, and you can hear the reverb, but at the same time, the vocals are cutting in pretty well. Now let's go into why I reduced some of the frequencies in the low end for the EQ. So even on this, you're going to have a lot of the low bass frequencies coming from this reverb, all right? Again, same thing with vocals. I don't want to have too much low end, too much bass frequencies in the song. I'd rather have the bass guitar, 808s, kick drums taking up most of the bass frequencies and not have the EQ muddy it up as well. So I want to keep those low frequencies cleaner or clean. That's why I take away about 6 hertz, 60 hertz away from the reverb so it doesn't conflict with the low frequencies. And that way, again, there's not much of that muddiness from the reverb itself, and obviously it won't take away from the other instruments that sit in that area. And that's basically really what I use it for. Oh, here's a side note. If you're going to do the parallel effect and send out signal through a bus, you want to set your wet and dry to 100% wet, okay, on your reverb. Because your dry samples or your dry signal is already on the main audio channels. You don't want to have more of the dryness in the reverb. You just want to make it 100% wet, meaning 100% the reverb effect, okay? Second, why do I have parallel effects for the reverb? I've seen a lot of people in the beginning throw on reverb to the channels instead. So I go in here, place a reverb. For example, I go on to my backup and place another reverb there. And that's how some people use it, reverb on every single channel. This is the reason why I don't do that, all right? One, it's a lot more work. Meaning if I want to change the reverb, I'm going to have to go into every single one of these and do the exact same changes I did, right? And furthermore, I have to remember what I did, right? And imagine doing a lot of tweaks. You have to go back and forth and making sure everything is exactly the same, right? So that, I don't like doing that. It takes up too much time. I'd rather send it all into one effect, and just if I want to make any change to the reverb, boom, I just do it here, right? And if I want to change how much reverb I want in each channel, I go into the bus send and change that level there. All right. Second, reverb is usually used for, in a lot of common cases, to kind of create a room sound, or the perception that these things are all under one room. So for example, if you close your eyes and you listen to a song, it kind of sounds like that song or that band, that artist is playing right in front of you in that exact same room. The more reverbs you add, then it's going to sound like each one was recorded in different places. And if you close your eyes and listen to that, again, it's just not going to sound like it's coming from the same room. So having it all under at least one main reverb and sending all the signals through there makes everything sound more real, I would say. Okay? And yeah, that's basically it. Hope you guys learned a lot. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for things that you want me to teach, you already know. Leave me a comment, slide me a message, and I'll try and respond back and see if it's something that I can do. So until next time, y'all, just remember, knowledge is power, experience is key. Raygee signing off, man. Peace.
Bagong alamat, kami nagsulat. Kay umindak, tayo'y aangat. Bagong alamat.